Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, April 9th, and this is 6 Weeks to Success, and it is week number 4. So, you guys, we are halfway through. How are you guys doing so far? Good? All right. Where's that screen share tab here? There it is. All right. Yeah, see, I feel like I'm getting better at this screen share, after all these weeks. All right, so 6 weeks of success. Let's just kind of review what we've learned so far, okay? On week number 1, we got into product knowledge, right? To maximize your sales. Show of hands, how many of you are kind of working on that Power Tool Talks? Are you implementing that? Are you working on that? Yeah, because, that can really not only help your sales, it's going to help your bookings. And if your Power Tool Talk is also about a rock, it's going to help your recruiting because guess what? It's in the kit too. Okay, so 1 product a month to really, really, really get good on. And, in a year's time, you're going to know a lot about all of our power tools and it's going to be natural. We also learned that belief determines what we can and cannot do and that our brain can be retrained. Okay, we learned how to talk to people while out and about, how to book parties at our shows, and words to say for those things. We've learned that our passion shines through and can completely influence people's purchases and even bookings at parties. And last week we talked about host coaching to keep your sales up, to get more people at your parties, which helps with bookings and sales, and of course recruiting. And it keeps that constant pool of leads growing. All right, and you'll learn that your skills will make a huge difference at every single party. There's a 90-day rule with the Pampered Chef, and that says whatever changes we make now really don't start really coming to full fruition for about 90 days. Okay, so keep with these things that you've learned. Keep tweaking them, and it is amazing the cumulative effect that these will have and what you'll be experiencing with your business in another month or so. Hopefully you've already seen some improvement, and if you keep with it, you will see even more. All right, so does anybody have anything to share so far? Something that they learned during the 6 weeks of success that they implemented that they're super excited about? I know before we started recording, we heard, booking parties and all kinds of great stuff. But anything specifically related to what you've learned at 6 weeks to success that you want to share?
I'm really loving the Facebook letter that Michelle put together because I want hosting to be really easy. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to trick hosts into being like, yeah, it's really easy. Oh, but just kidding. But I feel like the letter that she put together really outlines the simple tasks that hosts really have to do for a successful online party.
That's great. And you know what? And I love that we have such a, everybody shares what's working for them. Mm-hmm. And yes, having an online party, it is easy. It's not time consuming, but there are things the hosts need to do. They need to be engaged and they need to be reaching out. So I'm glad that's working for you. Awesome. Anybody else want to share something that they've implemented that they're already starting to see some results from? Anything with host coaching besides, and Jen shared that list or that letter was a great thing with host coaching. Anything else with the host coaching? In fact, I think that's the next slide. Yeah, there it is. Anything that you've been implementing with host coaching that is having a great effect?
And I'll jump in and share. I am learning to get them to make a goal.
Yeah.
So I actually created, because I tell them to go to the website and create their own wish list, they don't do it. So now I have a sheet that they fill out, and it's like, okay, at least write 5 products down that you want. And then let's look at what that would cost. And then let's look at how many people do we have to get how many people to buy. I use the formulas of the $68 per average and that whole thing. And so it makes a difference when they actually see a concrete product they want to earn.
Yes, I agree. I want my hosts to be like women on a mission. Or men on a mission. But yeah, when they know that this is what they want, and here's the breakdown, and especially when they see that every 2 orders is going to bump them up, all of a sudden, if an idea is, it doesn't have to bring in 10 orders. If it brings in 2, it's going to bump them up to the next level and the next level and the next level. Yeah. And I have to say, I went to a party today, $400 in outside orders. And this is pretty much the norm now for me. I ask every host based on, first I find out what they want. And then I say, are there 2 people who love you dearly who would love to see you get that list? And do you think you could give them a call and say, hey, I really want a rock or the knife block set. I'm not sure I know if I know enough people to get it for free. Would you mind taking in a catalog to work to see if anybody needs anything? And if the host and 2 other people are collecting and inviting, so they're collecting outside orders and then they're inviting, oh my goodness. Yeah. So if you haven't tried that idea yet, put that at the top of your list, I suggest. Okay. All right. So today we're moving on and we're going to be talking about recruiting. It is just one other thing that we have to offer to our customers. We have products. We have the opportunity to get products for free through hosting. And then, of course, we have this amazing business opportunity. Okay. And sometimes people think of recruiting as kind of a big thing, kind of scary sometimes. Anybody feel like it's a little scary? Yeah. And that's normal for most people, but you really just want to keep in mind that it's really just a conversation. Well, at least the recruiting, what we used to call the interview, it's just a conversation. At every party, hopefully you're doing something that, like a Q&A round, or some people do trading hearts, or if you're doing virtual parties, hopefully you're posting something about the business opportunity, and then you're just talking to people about it, just like you talk to them about hosting, just like you talk to them about products, okay? And there is no perfect thing that you could say to someone who's not interested to make them all of a sudden want to sign. And you know what? There's really nothing wrong you can say to a person who's gonna sign. Okay, so don't worry about having any magic words. It's really just about helping people, figure out how this business works and to help them see if it could be a good fit for them. When I'm talking to someone about the business, I do not judge my success of that conversation by whether or not they say yes or no to the business. I judge the success of the conversation by, did they get the information that they needed to make it the best and most informed decision for themselves? And if the answer is yes, that's a successful recruiting conversation, even if the person decides that right now it's not for them. Does that help at all take away some of the nervousness? Yeah, and I'll tell you, my recruiter, the person who recruited me, she was brand new to recruiting. She almost talked me out of it. I had to just say to her, you know what, stop talking, just sign me up before I get so scared I'm gonna run out the door. Okay, so when I tell you there's really nothing wrong, there's nothing that you can say if someone wants to sign. It's just give them the information, they'll sign themselves sometimes. Okay, so do you wanna know kind of a formula for having that conversation? I know I did. Okay, it's actually pretty easy. There is the 7-question recruiting flyer that I'm going to be posting to the event. And actually, it's coming up in the next slide, I think. And really, you just kind of follow that those 7 questions. And then I also bring that the recruiting brochure that that comes in your kit. What's it called again? What's that orange one? It's like Take a Bite or Life Tastes Great. What's it called? I should know this. Oh, now everybody's looking like, where is that thing?
Life Tastes Great.
Life Tastes Great. Yes. Yeah, there it is. Excellent. Okay. So I have the 7 questions and I have the little recruiting brochure, and I ask them the questions and then I just kind of walk them through the brochure. And then I ask, so what do you think? How does this sound to you on a scale of 1 to 10? And then I shut up and listen, okay? So let's take a peek at that 7 questions, okay? This is really just to kind of get to know you kind of thing. It's not an interrogation, it's just a conversation. I do take notes, when when I'm speaking to someone about the business, even if I'm right there in person, I'm jotting down the information and I write their name at the top with their contact information. And a lot of this information is helpful for when a lead has hesitations. Once I know a little bit about them, I can very often give them solutions for any hesitations they might have. Anybody want to kind of role play with me for a couple of minutes? Want to be a pretend lead? Anybody?
I will be.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Belinda. All right, so Belinda, we met at a party a day or two ago, and we decided since we lived close that we were going to meet over a cup of coffee, but this could be done over the phone as well. Okay, and you had said that you were kind of curious. You were one of those people you were getting your hands on every single product and you were selling it to everybody in the room. Okay, but other than that, I don't know too much about you yet. So
Okay.
so we get together and I just kind of warm up the conversation. So Belinda, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. And I'm really excited to talk with you about the business. But before we get started on that, I just kind of want to know a little bit more about you. And first of all, I would love to hear what got you interested in learning more about the business.
Extra money.
Yeah, you want extra money?
I need some extra money.
Well, you can definitely do that here for sure. But there's a lot of ways to make extra money in the world. What appealed to you about Peppered Chef the most?
Just the fact that I can make my own hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, the flexibility is fantastic. Yeah. And if you had to think about kind of yourself doing this business, like what makes you think this would be a good fit for you? Is there anything, I mean, I know I saw you like selling everything in the room, so I think you'd be a natural. What do you think? Like, do you think you have any qualities that would be a great fit for this?
No, I think that'll come with time, and once I get used to the products and stuff, I think I could do all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, guys, I'm going to go a little off script because this isn't the 7 questions that I have that I was going to be posting. So I'm looking going, wait a minute, number 3 is not what I'm asked right now.
Yeah, these are different.
Yeah, so I'm going to go off script a little bit, and I'm going to kind of go with what I remember on my own sheet. So Belinda, I'm curious, can you tell me a little bit more about your family? Like, I know you mentioned a husband. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Well, yes, I do have a husband. I have 2 children,
Mm-hmm.
5 grandchildren, and 1 more on the way.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so I've got a big family. An 84-year-old mother.
Ah, are they all local or are they kind of spread out all over the place?
I know most of them are local. I've only got 1 grandchild that's quite a ways away, but both my kids actually live in Concord. Yep,
Nice.
they're pretty close.
Lucky you, lucky you.
So
And
I love to see them.
yeah. So the flexibility would be nice, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'm curious, have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
No. Well, you know what? Not to worry. Most people who give this business a try haven't done anything like this before. And, we don't just pat you on the back and wish you luck if you decide to sign. It comes with training, so no worries there. But I got to tell you, from what I saw at the show, you seem like a natural.
Oh, good.
Now, what do you do for work right now?
I'm a builder.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yep, build new construction homes.
Good. Wow. So this would be a great fit, right? Because when people build new construction, then they have kitchens to fill.
Absolutely, and I'm a kitchen designer, so everybody's going to get an invite.
There you go. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What else do you do in an average week? Do you have any other hobbies or anything else that you do?
No, I did have horses, but they've all kind of gone away.
Oh.
I have a dog, but I do kids, so that's always high priority on my list every week.
Ah, very good. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you. Okay. So I'm just curious, if you decided you wanted to give this business a try, is there a certain amount of money you'd really love to make?
Yes.
How much is
At,
that?
at least $500 a month.
500 a month. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And is there a certain amount of time you see yourself putting into your business each week if you decided to do this?
I would actually I would probably have one show a week
Mm-hmm.
comfortably, but I'd like to obviously have more than that.
Mm-hmm. So timing wise, because there are different kinds of shows, we can do live shows, we can do virtual shows. If you had to think of an average week in your life, I mean, how much time do you see yourself being able to?
Bad question, Karen. For me right now. I could probably give maybe an hour every night.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's plenty of time to be able to maybe do some of the virtual parties as well, if you decide that that's something you want to do. And, so if you say if you've got an hour or so a day plus enough time to do one kitchen show a week, and your goal is to make 500 a month, that is right in line with that. In fact, you could probably double that if you also wanted to use an hour evening to do some virtual parties as well. So that's definitely in line.
Good.
So I'm just curious, at this point, are you just wanting to hear about how to sign up, or do you have questions about the business?
No, I've actually think I'm just ready to sign up and get this ball going.
Well, that's fantastic. Signing up is super easy. Which kit are you eyeing?
Oh, I'd love that big one, but I can't take that big one right now. So I'll probably go with the second kit.
Okay, so you're looking at the deluxe kit. Okay, excellent. All right, so at this point, I would help her hop right online and order her kit. And then I would also then say to her, okay, if we order your kit now, it's the 9th, you'll probably get it around the 16th. Let's look and see when we can schedule a kickoff party for you. Okay, so, and some people, and probably a third of them, when you meet with them, they're just like, yeah, I just want to learn how to get started. So I'm going to post the questions that I use. I'll also post these so you can decide, which one of the 7 questions that you like better. Now, if Belinda had said to me, oh, I don't think I'm ready to quite sign right now, I've got some questions, then I would find out what her questions were. And I would answer them, and I would explain in a little more detail exactly how the business works. And after, and then I would answer her question. I'd say, do you have any other questions? Okay, and if she does, I would answer those. Is there anything else that you're wondering about the business? And then after all the questions are answered, then I just simply say, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being never, and 10 being, oh my gosh, sign me up right now, kind of where do you fall on the scale? Okay, I used 1 to 10 on my survey slips at my shows for, if they want to have a show, but I also like it when I'm talking to someone about the business, because for me, it makes it really easy then to follow up with them. If they're a 10, it means sign them up now. When someone tells me they are a 9 or they're an 8, I just look and say, oh, you know what a 9 is? And they say, what? I say, it's just a nervous 10. And they usually laugh and go, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I say, so you want to just do it scared? That's close enough to a 10. You want to hear about how to get started? They say yes. And an 8 is the same way. An 8 is just a nervous 10. And they usually sign. Now, if it's a 7 or below, I'll just say, what makes it a 7 for you? And sometimes it's timing. Oh, I can't sign right now. I don't get paid till Friday. Okay, that's easy. We'll wait. Or they say, oh, I can't sign right now because, whatever. So sometimes it's just a timing thing. Sometimes it's a bigger hesitation that they might not have shared with us before. But if you say what makes it a 7 for you, what makes it a 6 for you, they tell you why. And then you just offer up a solution and say, how does that sound? Okay. But again, it's just about having a conversation. You're just talking to them about the business, okay? And you're answering their questions. And if you guys, I know there's quite a few of you on this 6 Weeks to Success series who are in your first month or so of business. You can definitely do these calls as a three-way call with your director. Okay, you each have a copy of the outline in front of you, and you do it together. Okay, the director, your director will ask and answer the questions. You chime in when you want, and you can kind of take notes and you can listen. And what you'll probably hear is, oh wow, this is easy. It's a very easy conversation. I don't think the people who are there to find out more about the business are feeling pressured at all. It's really just getting their questions answered for them. Any questions or comments about that? Okay, and like I said, I'll post both the 7 questions on there, as well as there's this link that I will also post. But of course, that's to different questions than you heard tonight. But you can decide, which style feels more true to you, and use whatever you like. Now, there are also interview cards that are available through Pampered Chef on a supply order. And what these cards are, you start with the one at the top that says, tell me about yourself. And when you flip that card over, some of these get to know you questions, the things that I asked Belinda, are on the back of that card. So you just kind of go through those questions. Now, if Belinda had said to me, that she wasn't a 10 and ready to get started, if she said, I'm really about a 7, or I want to learn more about the business, if she had a hesitation and she said, I don't know where I'd get bookings, well, I just heard that she's got 2 adult children who have kids and that they're local. I heard that she's a builder and she's probably got clients who have new houses. I heard that she's got a spouse. I heard that she used to have horses, and she probably knows other people who have horses. So I could say to her, hey, you could talk to those people, or have you thought about this? And I could give her some suggestions, and all of a sudden, oh wow, there's business all around me. Yeah, I can see that now. So when we ask those get to know you questions, they're not just good for icebreakers and things like that, but they are good for being able to help the person sort of overcome some hesitations, and the most common being, where the heck would I find parties? Okay, then on these cards, you would kind of lay them out for people and say, after the tell me about yourself questions, you just say, these are the most common questions that people have. What are you curious about? So you'll see that there's support, the money, the freedom and the flexibility, the fun, so what part appealed to you? If they say, oh, the money, you could flip that over, and there's questions and comments about the income that we can make. So they're right on there for you. So if you like the cards, you can go with the cards. If you like the 7-question recruiting with the brochure, you can go with that. That's the one I go with, because these cards weren't invented back when I learned about, having interviews. So I kind of go with what I'm comfortable with. But there are options, so you can find the one that kind of fits your style. And there's also a link here that I will post that gives you a little more detail about how those interview cards work. I gave you just kind of a brief overview. This will give you a little more detail about that. Okay, so nobody has to freak out or get nervous. It's just talking about the business. And when I was new, I remember talking to someone who's very experienced. And I said to her, I said, you seem as comfortable talking about the business as you are a baking stone. And she said, I am. It's just another great tool that I offer to people. Some people are going to buy a baking stone. Some people are going to hop on board and become a consultant. And it's just another thing that I offer for people that can be helpful in their lives. And I thought, I hope I can get there. Well, you know what? I'm definitely there. I've been there for a long, long time. And the way to get comfortable with it is just to do it. Just like the way to get comfortable with shows is to do them. The way to get comfortable with driving a car is to drive a car. And the way to get comfortable with talking to people about the business is talk to some people about the business. Okay? All right. So this is just another thing. We're talking about skills, and this conversation is just another skill, all right? And skills are a major component of success. And the more you tweak and fine tune your skills, the more you learn about selling, host coaching, booking, and recruiting. So the bigger your skill, the bigger your paycheck. So you want to keep working on those. And of the 4 pillars, they do say that the skills are the easiest things to learn, because it's just information. It's just something you need to just find the information and practice, practice, practice. Okay? So one of the things you can do is practice recruiting on your friend. Just, you know, and this is actually going to be one of your assignments. To call somebody you know. It can be a spouse, it can be a best friend, it could be a family member. And you can say, hey, I'm part of this training course with Pampered Chef, and I have a homework assignment. Would you help me out? I need to do a practice. You can call it an interview, or you can call it a business conversation, whatever you want. Okay. And you can use either the 7-question recruiting or the recruiting cards. And the other thing you can do is watch and listen to a home office training that I'm going to be giving to you. If you are local to your director and there's a sales meeting coming up, very often there's around most of the sales meetings, there's a closer look or an opportunity for people to come to that. And of course, you can schedule a 3-way call if you've got any leads, schedule a 3-way call with your director. Has anybody decided if they're going to conference? I'm going. Yeah. Conference is coming up in July. If you are new to the business since last July, your conference registration fee is just $99, which is amazing. Okay.
Conference August?
It is in the beginning of August. Yes.
Okay.
And so when you're looking at it, it's the registration fee, which can be paid for with Pampered Chef dollars. Okay. Then if you're like me, there's going to be some airfare involved, but we've been finding some really cheap flights these days, a couple $100. And then there's hotel, but we usually have multiple roommates. It's kind of like being in a dorm. We usually put 4 people per room, so the hotel is very reasonable. Pampered Chef covers some meals. If you're in my downline, I'll be probably doing some kind of pizza night for us. So there's another meal that's covered. So there's just a couple small meals you might have to cover on your own. But it is an amazing investment in your business. For me, especially when my kids were young, it was the only time of the year that I could go and fully concentrate on my business without any interruptions for 3 full days or 2 full days. And you're surrounded by people from all over the country. You make connections, you get ideas. It's amazing. Okay. And then we're still doing the tips from the top on Wednesday nights. So be dialing into those or clicking the Zoom into that. You know, just build these habits into your business. And like I said, that 90-day rule, the cumulative effect of all these little habits will come to fruition. And do lots of shows, okay? And when you're at your shows, do the habits. Take on the habits of successful people in this business. When you're at your shows, you don't want to just talk about products. You want to make sure you have a compelling and inspiring booking talk. And you want to make sure you're doing a Q&A round or some kind of recruiting activity at every single party, even if there's only 3 people there, even if you know everybody in the room and you're thinking there's nothing that you know, none of them are going to be interested in the business. For every person in the room, that individual knows probably 20 people really well. So if there are 10 people in the room and those 10 people all know 20 people, your recruiting Q&A round or your recruiting activity could reach out potentially to 200 people, okay? So every single show, no matter what. I was a referral to Pampered Chef. So were many others. How many of you were referrals? Okay, yeah. So you don't want to miss out on those referrals. You never know who's in the room in front of you, and you never know who they might know. Okay, so any questions or comments before we get on to the homework? Okay. All right, so the homework this week You're going to be listening to a video, or I don't know what you're going to be listening to, a YouTube thing, about Top Recruiters Tell All with Brenda and Genevieve. And these were people who were top people, and they spoke at a conference in the past, and you're going to be hearing what they do, and you'll be hearing great word choices that they use. So you're going to be listening to that. I will post this, of course, in the 6 Weeks to Success group. But wait, I thought I put in here. Oh yeah, okay. Then after you listen to that, you're going to share with your recruiter 5 takeaways. And then you're going to do 2 practice interviews on family or friends. And you're going to use either the 7-question recruiting or the recruiting interview cards if you have them. And I think the recruiting cards might even be downloadable at this point if you want to like print them out and cut them out. I think you can do that. All right. And then when you talk to your director, of course, you're going to be talking about your shows this week. Do have a conversation about the host coaching calls that you're having, because we just, that was the focus of last week. Make sure you're not just getting into autopilot. Make sure you're implementing those changes that you decided when you listened to the host coaching last week. Sometimes it is the littlest tweaks that can bring about amazing changes. And talk about, definitely at your parties this week, whether live or virtual, that you're doing some kind of recruiting activity, Q&A round, stealing hearts, posts on your virtual parties where people can ask you questions. And if you do have virtual parties this week, I would suggest on the day that you're posting I do the be nosy, ask me anything, and it's like this nose of a dog sniffing the screen. When you're at that point and you're posting for people to ask you questions, see if your director's around, invite your director to be on there. So we can see the questions that are posted, and if we're available, we can give you some suggestions for follow-up. And then, of course, you're going to be talking about any leads that you get, how many bookings you get, sales, and things like that. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share here. Any questions about anything you heard tonight? Any comments? And by the way, just to let you know, sometimes those practice interviews, you're just practicing on a friend that you don't think is even interested. This is just a friend of yours. Sometimes what happens in the end, they go, I think I really do want to do this. Okay, so don't be too shocked if that happens, okay? And by the way, if you like it to be able to, if you've got some people that you think might be interested, but you're not really thinking that they'd be up for like a serious conversation about it, hey, you can keep doing practice interviews even beyond this too. If that makes it easier to get your toe in the door to talk to someone, you could say, I need more practice. I've been given a challenge to do more of these practice interviews. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Okay, just say it out loud, and all of a sudden it becomes much more natural. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording, but I will stay on for